when I did my watch list for May, I said that this movie looked like it was going to be a wild, colorful ride. I underestimated how wild it was going to be. I expected quirky. I got like eccentric, avant-garde. This is my first Boots Riley movie, so I did not know what I was walking into. But I enjoyed it. If you have a chance to go see it soon in a theater near you, I highly recommend. The movie gives us a lot. Okay, so first, it is written and directed by Boots Riley himself, and it stars everybody you see on this poster. The cast is stacked. It's got Keke Palmer, Naomi Aki, who I last saw in Blink Twice, which I enjoyed Blink Twice. I reviewed Blink Twice. It had so much potential. Like it was good. It could have been better. Anyways, this is about I Love Boosters. It stars Poppy Liu, Taylor Page, I don't remember if I said her name, Isa Gonzalez, Lakeith Stanfield, Will Poulter, Don Cheadle, Demi Moore. So it's about Corvette, played by Keke Palmer, and her group of friends who are boosters. They've decided to target this billionaire fashion designer named Christy Smith, played by Demi Moore. And they are going into her stores and stealing the clothing and then, of course, selling it back to their community at a much, much, much cheaper price. It explores themes of labor exploitation, exploitation of foreign labor, so exploitation of both domestic and foreign labor. And exploitation of foreign labor comes with a whole other set of problems, because what tends to happen with that is a lot of like health consequences for those people, which is explored in the movie. We also get exploration of the theft of Black intellectual property, set of course in the fashion world, and even this idea of taking from Black culture, Black American culture, and selling it back to them, and treating them like criminals and being suspicious of them when they come into these stores looking at these wares that, again, were stolen, inspired by stolen, outright stolen in some cases, from that community. We've also got exploitation of the lower class, community infiltration, and of course, labor organizing. I think it explored those themes well, to the detriment of the main character. Like, I feel like towards the end, we got more of the message and really kind of abandoned the main character. And for me, like, the characters make the story. And so it's always disappointing when that gets lost at any point in the story. But let me get into that right now. So we have Corvette, who starts off really strong, like fleshed out. She is self-centered. She's swimming in place. She's poor. She's living in a chicken place, like a store that's been shut down. And she makes a living by stealing. We don't get an indication that she has any other form of employment. She admires Christy Smith, greatly admires her. That's her idol. She studies her. She's read her book. She watches everything she does because Corvette wants to be a designer. So Corvette's journey is going from self-centered to seeing the bigger picture, right? So she eventually realizes that her idol stole from her. I think that the story failed a little bit at establishing how widespread is Christy's theft, right? Based on what we learned about Christy, her background, right? She comes from Europe. We saw her initial design. She is not a colorful person. Her initial designs were not colorful. She is a white woman from Eastern Europe. It's hard to imagine her. She doesn't come from a colorful culture. And so it's hard or a colorful community. So it's hard to imagine her going from those black and white, straight lines, no texture, going from that to these like bold colors and this concept of color. And so, yes, she stole from Corvette. It would have been great to flesh that out more and give us an indication of where else, because she stole a specific design from Corvette, but I can imagine that she's stolen a lot more through these little competitions. So Corvette thinks she's getting an opportunity to be seen by someone she admires when she enters this fashion design competition, only to realize that Christy stole from her. And so then she sets on revenge to rob Christy. But really, towards the end, we learned that she really honestly just wants to be seen by Christy. Her friend, Mariah, tells her that, like, with all this, like, because by that point, Mariah's on board with, like, let's hit Christy systematically, like, where it hurts. Corvette is interested in personal revenge, and this ain't a revenge flick. This is a story about community organizing and a critique of capitalism. You can't be out for self in a critique of capitalism. And so, Mariah tells her that, if you keep going down this path, all you're going to do is annoy Christy. Christy's a billionaire. So if you ruin her fashion show, she's just going to dust herself off and, wait for the next fashion show. She's just going to slander you. And so that's the evolution she has to do as a character. She's so focused on her revenge to the point that she is dismissive of her friends, like Mariah. Mariah's really the only one who had, like, an internal storyline. And Jianu. She was resistant, as they all were at the beginning, to this idea of intersectionality. Like, my issues has crossed over with your issues, so let's take care of each other. I did appreciate the skepticism of Jianu, of this outsider being like, help me with my problem. And then being like, nah, they weren't on some the enemy of my enemy. Well, they're not enemies, but like we have the same enemy, until they saw how Jianu, her having that device, could benefit them. But she also had to grow, Corvette, and accepting that, this is way bigger than her. There are a lot more people who could get some real benefits if they truly hit Christy where it hurts and exposed her for the systemic problems that she creates in her capacity as an employer, a billionaire employer. That would be more powerful and impactful than just trying to ruin her fashion show because she stole your designs. The anger is valid, but she stumbled upon a bigger issue, and she had to get there to care about the bigger issue and use her brilliant mind to expose Christy in a way that counts. But like I said, there's no real ending for Corvette. Like, she wanted to be a fashion designer. Does she still want to be a fashion designer, or did the thing with Christy put her off of everything? At the very end, we see her friends walking out of a store, and I briefly saw the words philanthropy, fashion philanthropy, and I'm like, did they open their own store? Does the Velvet Gang still exist? Does Corvette still live in the chicken shack? I know they meant to sell those $100,000 suits, which, are they skin suits that they're selling to other people? There were a few things that I feel like needed to be fleshed out more in terms of this world that was created, but I feel like that was shelved in favor of the message and getting to the message and communicating the message. The only real ending that Corvette got was deciding that she's not going to date Lakeith Stanfield's character, who I really feel was unnecessary. He's the fuckboy. Honestly, truly, he was only there to open the door to let them into the fashion show, and we could have figured out another way to do that. But Jianu got a real ending. We found out the health status of her mom. Christy got a real ending because we found out she's making changes in her companies. That worker got a real ending, those two workers, because we know they joined some labor organizations. But Corvette, we didn't really get an ending for her or the Velvet Gang. I give it a 3 out of 5. I think it's the story itself, like, lots of powerful themes, but kind of pretty average. Message received, though. Let me know what you thought of I Love Boosters.